First up, we have H for G-type.
G-type for this week, game logo in there. So this is the version that has the white background. Ryan has updated it so that we have the transparent background, so that'll look a lot nicer. And if you download the current version of the game, it's got that in there already. So we're making good progress there. Team G, up to 25 for GitHub, 17 with Twitter handles, 28 for Trello, and 35 in the Slack channel. So we're doing good, continuing to grow and getting contributions from lots of folks every week. So it's going really, really well. We got our feedback survey form out there. It's been out there for about a week or so. I'd like for others to jump in. We've got feedback from 3 different folks. Would like for you to go ahead and jump in there and do that in the next day or two. I'd like to go through the results and update the Trello as necessary to account for that. As a part of that, we're learning that feedback is hard. Giving feedback is a challenge, right? You need the person that you're giving the feedback to be able to receive it. So you have to be not so direct that they shut down and can't hear what you're trying to tell them, but you also can't be so indirect that they're unable to figure out what it is you're actually trying to convey to them. So there's a balance when giving feedback between too direct and too indirect. Likewise, receiving feedback, we all know that it can be challenging to, keep your feelings to yourself, to avoid feeling like the feedback is a personal attack. There's also a tendency to try and please everyone. And inevitably, you will get one person saying this should be up and somebody else saying this should be down. So then pleasing everyone will be impossible. And it is also possible that the feedback you get is pointing out a problem and then suggesting a solution, but there's a mismatch there where it's kind of the wrong solution. So feedback is hard. Art for this week. I mentioned that we got the game logo in there. So here's the version with the transparent background that Ryan gave us. Jamie did the Ragnarok capsule, so we're going to get that in there. I think what we'll do is when you collect that capsule, it destroys all the enemies on the screen, so that'll be great. And T gave us a rock. He's working on getting an additional piece of additional floating rock to put in the game that we can use as an obstacle that the player will have to avoid in order to not crash into it. So first step was to build that sprite. So moving right along there. I used a previous player sprite that we are no longer using, and I converted over to be a mini boss. So we're moving along. I've got a little bit of work done there, but really looking for a boss. We got 3 levels, so we need 3 bosses, mini bosses if we can do it. Still need some sort of sprite for the Force and for the UI for the Force, and lots of enemies. Still need lots of enemies. So lots of room for artwork. And I don't know if you can tell in this video here, but there are little tiny floating rocks that Krister added, and it really adds a lot of depth to the game. For audio was the big win this week. We got a new song, the Warp Speed song, so that's really nice. Chris Markle updated the enemy explosions, both the small, medium, and large explosions. He also updated the player normal shot audio. So those are all sounding really nice. Andrew gave us the extra life, so he did a special effect and a song. And Lauren gave us the player bullet and missile when they hit like non-destructible land. It makes a sound that's different from what it does when it hits something that can be destroyed. So that's a really nice piece of feedback for the player. It's going really well. Music, still looking for music for level 1 and level 2, and something for the game over if we can. Other special effects, when you're on the menus and you're doing moving around from the UI, would like some sort of audio feedback there. Still need the capsule pickup special effect or sound effect rather, and the clear all enemies on screen. And then when the players got the shields up and they take the final hit and the shields fail, some sort of sound there. So lots of progress on special effects this week. For code, we got another test commit in, so we're up to 5 members of the club have made their initial game commit on G-type, so really excited about that. Kevin gave us updated pause code as well as adding the actual indication on screen that the game is paused, so you know that. Michelle gave us power-up cheat codes, so you can individually activate each of the power-ups on the keyboard if you want to test something or if you just want to try it with one specific power-up. Ryan is almost complete with the tiled integration so that we can start doing level design in tiled. Real close on that. I'm really excited. For next week, looking for planetary approach boss and behavior, implement the clear all enemies from screen, and then continue to include the force and any assets that are created over the week. For design, mostly same here. We need to start talking about game trailer script or storyboard, like, hey, let's show this and this and this, and trying to explain the story or gameplay or something along the lines. I like to have kind of a few ideas, so maybe a brainstorm kind of thing for the game trailer. And then we've got some cutscenes that we could stick in there as well. So lots of opportunities to design, if that's what you'd like to do with the game, is to be involved in the design side of things. For marketing this week, update video, 223 views for the most recent video, and 4,400 impressions for the tweet associated with that. Screenshot Saturday, we're up to almost 7,000 impressions from yesterday, which is more impressions than we got from the one that is 7 or 8 days old. You can see the other stats there for the marketing. So moving along. Quick demo of the game. So let's see if I can get through this a little bit more quickly so I can show you some stuff at the end here. So we would like to have had one more sound there indicating that the shields had failed. You can see that with the code you get lots of power-ups and lots of extra lives, and pretty easy to get through the game, I think, this way. But here we go with a mini boss. Now he's got a couple of bugs in here. He's invincible. Here in a second he's going to fly off the screen and never come back. Yeah, there he goes. So there we go. There's G-Type. And then the Trello. Week 6, so I'll move all these things to the right. You see we got a fair number of things here that are not there, but as you move forward, you see some of these later weeks get a little lighter, so there's still room to move all this stuff up. But we start looking at a lot of design stuff for levels and screens and the trailer and the warp zone, and then still lots of room for enemies or spawn points for enemies or platforms for them to sit on so that they can attack you from various locations. So that's it for G-Type this week.
Right, next up, we have Terrence for Chop 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 Chop.